Ever wondered what life is like with power level 69? Let's find out together with our special guest Nandi, sharing some useful advice along the way. So, when did you start playing Tacticus?
I first started playing Tacticus, I think probably maybe November 2023.
Alright, okay. I figured you're level 69 now, right?
Yeah.
So, what made you stop there, or is it just too hard to advance at that point?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I wasn't really thinking about stopping. I'm just playing the game organically, and I'm sure I'll reach level 70 eventually.
Okay. So, what do you think would be the fastest way to 69 if you had to start over?
I don't know. I think Tacticus is one of these games where one of the nice things as well as one of the things that is less nice is that it's quite hard to just pay your way to the top. I think people are generally rewarded by playing the game for longer rather than opening their wallet and taking out the credit card. So I don't know if there is a fast way. Things that I think definitely help though are being in a good guild, because a lot of rewards are tied to your guild standing. So that's maybe the only tip I would give.
Makes sense. So, what is the most important character from each alliance in early game?
Okay, so I think for Imperial it's probably pretty easy. Early game it's going to be Bellator. For Chaos, gosh, tough one. I think I'd probably have to go with Archmatos just now, just because his summons help you so much in the campaign. I think if Abraxas was available earlier, like for a starter player, then I would pick Abraxas. But, sadly, Abraxas, I think you have to play at least for a couple of weeks to get him. And for Xenos, I would go Eldrion.
Nice picks, I think. So, what is your daily routine at that level?
So, I spend a lot of time in this game, probably far more than is healthy. And that's because I'm playing in a top guild. And, we come up with strategies for lots of different game modes. So as you know, I'm a content creator for the game, as you are, and I think both of our shared experiences tell us just how difficult that process is. People see a 5-minute video, but actually that ends up taking maybe 5, 6, 7 hours, sometimes even more than that, just because of the process that takes. So I'll be honest, these days I really only play Guild Raid and Guild War. I have outsourced all of my other gameplay to my doting wife, so she plays my salvage runs and my arenas and my onslaughts. And sometimes I skip those modes altogether just because I don't have the time to play them.
And I guess you don't really need the resources anymore.
Yeah, once you're level 69, you've got all the characters you need.
Alrighty. So, what activities are you spending your most time with?
If you'd asked me maybe 6 months ago, I would have told you that Guild Raid is my favorite game mode. But the problem with Guild Raid, I think anyway, is once you have the sort of so-called roster of top raid characters, then I think it becomes a little bit less interesting and a little bit more of following patterns. And I like playing, Warhammer's a pretty diverse universe with lots of interesting characters. So I like playing with lots of different characters, and I think that the mode that allows me to do that the best is probably Guild War. And I know that that won't be a popular statement, because I know that Guild War is quite a polarizing game mode, but I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess it's a very different mode in early game and in late game, so makes sense. So, what is the most important character from each alliance in late game?
Ooh, good question. So I think for the Imperials, it's pretty easy because that's Exeter Row. Exeter Row is just does everything. He just does so much damage, and I've given my picks probably more of a Guild Raid slant because Guild Raids are currently the most rewarding game mode in the game. When you're cycling through those loops very quickly, you get lots of gold, lots of orbs, lots of credits. It's just by far the most lucrative game mode in terms of time to investment return. So Exeter is really good, but I also struggle picking him because he doesn't really do anything without the other admechs. So yeah, I'll say Exeter Row with a little star next to his name, because if you don't have Tangita and Actus, then Exeter Row doesn't do anything. For the Xenos, I don't think you can go further wrong than yeah, I think it's going to be Eldryon pretty easily. And for Chaos, I think I'd pick Karn. I just really, really like playing with Karn. I think his gameplay loops are really fun. I love his active, I love his passive. He's just a lot of fun to play in all game modes.
So what is your most liked character?
So my favorite character in the game is Shozo. I started playing Tacticus because a friend of mine told me, well, they knew I loved Tau. At that point in time, Tacticus was a new game. They just announced the Tau was the newest faction. And I said, wow, this is great. And I saw a video for Shozo, the sort of showcase videos that Snowprint do, the sort of 15, 20-second ones. Maybe that one was a bit longer. And I was like, this guy's awesome. This guy's a Tau. I picked him, it just, yeah, he's great. He's really fun. He's my first Tau, and also I'm very thankful that he happens to be one of the most powerful characters in the game as well, so I can continue to use him and feel justified in my pick.
No bias included.
I think the more people play with Sho, the more they realize just how good he is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So lately, I read about a lot of people having burnt out. What makes you log in every day?
Yeah, good question. I have to say that I've struggled with those same feelings. I think playing one game for almost 2 years is a long time, and the burnout process accelerates when you spend more time on something, right? When you're spending 8, 9, 10 hours a day on the game and making content, that's a lot of time. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking, I don't know if you wanted me to give you a positive answer here, but one of my good friends in the game, Aaron's, has just recently retired, and he was a really, really good friend of mine. And it's been a big blow, actually. When he retired, I thought about retiring as well. But I'd mentioned that in my guild server that I was thinking of quitting, and I got a lot of positive messages from various people saying, keep going, we love your work, we love your content. And I guess that's probably the motivation at this stage, the viewers and people who like my work, really.
Yeah, I can only agree on that. So, what do you think is most important to keep late game players like yourself actually logging in every day?
Ooh, good question. Good question. I think the easy answer would be new content, wouldn't it? What would I be most excited about at this stage? Hard to know, really. Probably Commander Farsight. But I think in terms of game modes, I don't know if I could give you an easy answer there. No, I guess new content is the cheap and easy answer, but I don't know what new content I would want.
Okay, so just a surprise package.
Yeah, I think so. I don't have a specific answer, sadly.